Okay, at about 1/2 these are the facts of life. There are ways of making a baby, and there are ways you cannot possibly make a baby. Bear that in mind as the story you're about to see unfolds. It is the story of a father who couldn't be and a mother who shouldn't have. And as for the child, here's CNN's Sean Caleb's.
This is Viola Trevino dashing into an Albuquerque, New Mexico courtroom in December of 2004 with a small child in tow. It was another skirmish in a long battle over child support payments with her ex-husband. It started in 1999. As their divorce became final that year, Trevino said she was pregnant and that the father was her soon-to-be ex-husband, Steve Barreras.
I couldn't believe it at first, you know.
Barreras, a prison guard, agreed to talk only if we masked his appearance for his own security. Medical records show he had a vasectomy 2 years before Viola Trevino said he made her pregnant. Still, in 2002, a court ruled against Barreras and forced him to pay more than $20,000 in child support. Trevino was a very convincing witness.
She's very good at what she does, and she makes people believe her.
Shelley is Steve Barreras' current wife. For years, the two battled bureaucracy without success. Court records showed that Trevino presented a birth certificate, social security number, baptismal records, and 2 DNA tests that showed Barreras was the father of a young girl named Stephanie Renee.
No one would believe us with 2 DNA documents. No one would believe us.
They sought help from New Mexico's Child Support Enforcement Division. The response, a 1-paragraph statement. We cannot help you any further in getting a copy of the birth certificate, but your daughter does exist, as I'm sure you already knew.
We felt that that was sufficient evidence to say that there was a child, and that child indeed was the child of Mr. Barreras.
Finally, this December, Steve and Shelley won a round. The courts demanded Trevino produce the child who by now should have been 5 years old. That's when she came to court accompanied by this child. But the little girl wasn't 5, she was 2. Her name isn't Stephanie, it's Delilah. And it turned out that she wasn't Steve Barreras' child. She wasn't even Viola Trevino's child. Trevino had found the little girl with her grandmother on an Albuquerque street and lured them to the courthouse with a promise of seeing Santa Claus and $50 for presents. Once outside the courthouse, Trevino grabbed the child, dashed inside, leaving the confused grandmother in the street.
God, I thought I'd never see my granddaughter again. That was the most scariest thing that ever happened to me.
But Mrs. Chavez did follow her granddaughter to the courtroom, and finally, Trevino admitted the 2-year-old little girl was not Stephanie Renee. The judge ruled she had seen enough.
There is no child named Stephanie Renee Trevino.
It was a great burden taken off of me because for so long we had gone into courts trusting, thinking that the courts are going to take care of this problem because, you know, that's what the courts do. We trust in justice here.
Court records show Trevino made the whole story up. The documents faked, even the DNA information phony. The case has now made it onto the radar of New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson. He says it is unbelievable that one person could spin such an apparent web of deceit and deception. Richardson is now demanding to know how state officials were duped.
This is the most egregious example of a bureaucracy abuse and negligence that I've ever heard of.
Because of Trevino's ability to manipulate the system, the governor has launched an investigation. Richardson says it will soon be state policy that child welfare employees sign affidavits stating they have seen the children they work with. Steve and Shelley are relieved and now planning several lawsuits. Trevino has an attorney as well, who says that she never said Barreras fathered a child. The courts had it wrong. But now she claims her ex-husband hasn't paid enough alimony. Sean Caleb's, CNN, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
But you didn't lack for chutzpah. Still to come on the program.